So in this video we are going to discuss about disaster recovery plan. So what do you mean by disaster? So the disasters may be natural or unnatural also, but in the case of system also there is a chance of going for disaster. So in such cases, so how to cope up with that disaster? So how to make yourself ready with your procedures? So this disaster recovery plan is nothing but preparing for unplanned incidents. So if something is going to be happen, predicting that in advance and making recovery plans for not going for any loss related to the incident. So disaster recovery plan is a documented structured approach with instructions for responding to unplanned incidents. So if any unplanned, for example, so if this situation occurs, what are the remedies that you have to take, what are the procedures, and how you have to be pre-planned related to this incident. So like that you will prepare complete documentary related to that unplanned incidents. So that's nothing but disaster recovery plan. So it is a well documented program that provides detailed guidelines and guidance procedures to execute during and after a disaster. Means any disaster happens, what are the necessary steps that you have to follow during and after the disaster. So that will completely put on a documentary part. So it's nothing but disaster recovery plan. And not only that, it also includes what are the roles and responsibilities that should be performed by the persons who are involved in the recovery. So what are the necessary steps that are involved in disaster recovery plan? So first thing, you have to take commitment from the top management people. In case of disaster, these are the necessary things that we have to follow. So, and you have to seek approval from the top management for the same. And next one, sensitization of all the employees. Means whatever the information that is there related to the disaster and its recovery plan, that should be intimated and that should be conveyed to all the employees in that organization. And third one, appointment of business recovery coordinator. So in case of any huge disaster recovery disaster is going to be happen, in such cases you have to appoint a special person who is exclusively for this recovery plan. And after that, so you have to list out all the priorities that should be followed in the recovery plan. So in that priorities you have to, in that list you have to prioritize each, which is going to be first and which is to be performed next and which is to be performed later and which is to be performed last. So like that you have to go for establishment of priorities related to the plan. And after that, out of many recovery plans or out of few plans, you have to select one recovery plan that suits to your disaster. After selecting, so you have to execute the plan whatever you selected. And once they executed, so whether it is going in proper manner or not and how it's going on, so complete checking and controlling should be done. That is the review part. So once that is done, you have to update the system. So these are all the necessary steps that are followed in DRP. Commitment of the top management, sensitization of all the employees, appointment of business recovery coordinator, establishment of priorities, selection of recovery plan, execution of selected plan, review and updation of the DRP. After this, the main thing, so we are discussing about how to save and secure the information system and how you can control the information, right? So when you are into this field, when you are into this job, the first thing you have to follow some ethics. So here when we are talking about the ethics are also so many types are there, but here we are discussing mainly about two things. What is business ethics and what is corporate ethics. So first we will discuss about business ethics. So before going to that, what is ethics? Ethics is nothing but defining what is wrong and what is right. So in case of business also, there should be some principles, some rules which says that what task or what activity and what procedure is going to be right and what procedure is going to be wrong. Business ethics are moral principles that guide the way a business behaves. It means, so for example, I am running a hotel business. So in case of hotel business, so what are the necessary steps that I have to follow, what are the safe guidelines that I have to follow, and what are the amenities that I have to provide to my customers. All these I have to list out. So it means for every business there is a way, there is a procedure which says that how to run a business. Those are nothing but principles. So I have these principles. I don't cross these principles. In the sense, it says you are an ethical business person. So like that, business ethics is also, it tells the principles of how to do a business. The same principles that determine an individual's actions also apply to business. So not only like this, in case of individuals or person to person also, the ethics will apply. So the way of doing your work, the way of reporting your manager, the way of completing your work, the way of following the work hours in the organization, all these are the things which comes under the ethics. So when you come to the individual part, so simply it defines the difference between right and wrong. And out of that right and wrong, you have to go for right choice rather than the wrong one. Okay, next one, corporate ethics. What do you mean by corporate ethics? The business ethics, sometimes also known as corporate ethics, it's nothing but, so when you are applying some ethics on a professional person, and professional ethics, that examines both ethical, moral and the problems related to that ethical values. So when you are checking all these types of ethics and you are running your business in an ethical manner, it is called as corporate ethics. So normally, why the people maintain ethics in the business, in the sense, in order to maintain good communication and connection with their stakeholders. Stakeholders are nothing but the people who are all associated with that organization, like employees, top management, executives, customers, suppliers, manufacturers. All these people comes under the category of stakeholders. So when you want to maintain good communication and maintain good connection with your stakeholders, you have to follow the corporate ethics. Generally, we say principles, moral principles, business principles, like this. What are those principles? So here we have listed few principles. It's not mandatory that these all should be followed. So based on the situation, you can choose few out of this. But here we have listed commonly identified principles in the organization. First one is honesty. Second one, integrity. Third one, promise keeping and trustworthiness and loyalty towards your business and loyalty towards the customers. And fairness means keeping everything transparent and keeping everything in front of your stakeholders. And concern for other means it is purely social perspective. And respect for others means giving respect to elders and giving respect to the customers, giving respect to the citizens, senior citizens. All these comes under a principal part. Law abiding means whatever you are doing, it means business, related to the business, that should be abide by the law. And next one, commitment to excellence means whatever you do in the business, that should be a top one. Means you should do it in a perfect manner, excellent manner. And next one, leadership means whatever the work that you are doing, that should motivate your competitors, that and also your colleagues. Next one, reputation and morale means always try to maintain goodwill in the market and goodwill among the employees, and try to boost up the motivational levels of the employees also. And last one, accountability. So whatever you do in the business, you are going to be responsible for that. Means you have to answerable to your customers, you have to answerable to your suppliers, you have to answerable to your manufacturers, you are the responsible to your employees. So like that, so these are all the principles that are mainly followed when you come to the ethical part related to business or related to the corporate world. So what is the importance of ethics? So one reason to study ethics is that ethics is inescapable. You cannot go out of this. You have to follow. It is mandatory. So why we have to follow, in a sense, if you want to live in this social world as a human being, then you have to follow some ethics and you have to live according to the society. Like that, in case of business also, when you follow these principles, that will makes you to create goodwill among the organizations. The study of ethics should also lead one to develop skills in articulating your own values, to provide others with reasons for your actions and give you the means of questioning the values of others. It means if you want to prove yourself best in the market, if you want to prove yourself as a leader in the market, you should act like a benchmark to others. So in order to create that benchmark, not only in terms of money, in terms of humanity, in terms of business, in terms of morals, you should be in a higher positions. This ethics will helpful for you to keep such positions. So up to now we had discussed with ethical practices. In the next video we will discuss about the unethical practices.